I'm not sure where to find any more energy from after that incredible encounter in the X30 seniors. But the X30 juniors will, of course, give us a great show too. For Georgi Dimitrov and Lewis Gilbert on the front row of the grid, it's a chance to keep on banging in those good results. For Georgi Dimitrov in pole position in particular, it's a time to forget the last race, move on, and go for that first corner in fine style. I'm sure he'll be right at the front from the off, but he's got his teammate right behind him, Delano Van Toff, who took the previous victory on the second row of the grid, with Luke Preston alongside him on the right side of the grid, Josh Ratican and Victor Pardo, Luca Lystra and Kian Shields, Ollie Pilka and Cesar Gazzo rounding out the top 10. Then with Joshua McLean and Moa Obelts in the top 12, with Enzo Juliet and Suleiman Zanfari, Hugo Belderomov and Liam McNeely, Lola Lavinfos and Lois Delbart, Victor Sulan and Robin Norman, Jerzy Spinkovic and Alessandro Tudiska. And then we have Noam Abramcic and Zach Meekin, and then Jasper Hassinen and Herodind Nureddini at the back end of the grid. So it's going to be a really interesting battle, this one, for the drivers out there, because they obviously have already got quite a few decent races under their belts, and they'll want to do a decent job from their current positions. But at the front of the grid, two very feisty British drivers, Georgi Dimitrov, dual nationality actually, Bulgarian and British, and then we have the Scotsman from Dalry, Lewis Gilbert, from the front of the grid. He's already proved to be a pretty feisty contender over the course of the day. Maybe he can get a victory in the books at the end of this heat. It's going to be a tough one, and he will have to work hard for it. But we've had some very interesting races thus far, and some very different winners over the course of the junior races as well, of course. From the earlier races, we had Mari Boyer clinching his second, with the other races taken earlier through the day from Delano Van Toff. And then, of course, from earlier on in the day, we also had a sensational battle which ended up in victory for Lewis Gilbert himself. So having won once today, he would like to do it a second time, and he's got every reason to think he can get the job done. But there's going to be an interesting run of form for the drivers as they battle away for victory this time. I'm getting more amended results as the day comes in, so there'll be a few changes to the results. Just getting an eye on some time penalties in the qualifying heat BE for X30 Senior. Looks as though there's penalties for Vincent Marceau, Levi Lutucanto, Niels Kuhlen, Kike Bodes-Cotes and Angus Mulsdale, but we'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later on. It doesn't change the winner of the race, that is for definite. But from the front of the grid of this one, Georgi Dimitrov, Lewis Gilbert, Delano Van Toff, Luke Preston and the rest of the gang are going to go to battle in what promises to be a thrilling encounter. X30 Junior Qualifying Heat AC, Georgi Dimitrov and Lewis Gilbert at the front, Delano Van Toff and Luke Preston, then Ratican, Pardo, Lystra, Shields, Pilka, Gazzo, McLean, Urbelts, Juliet, Zanfari, Belderomov, McNeely, Lavenfoss, Delbar, Sulan, Norman, Spinkovic, Tudiska, Abramcic, Meekin, and then at the back of the field we have Jasper Hassinen and Herolin Nerodini. Now, what this means effectively is that we're going to have quite an exciting first couple of laps, as the top 6 to 7 drivers will all be squabbling for that inside line, and all of them have a chance to win today. Let's not forget that Lewis Gilbert has already done that from second on the grid. Georgi Dimitrov has been in contention to do it twice, having got the ultimate pole position earlier on and then lost out in the battle to Mari Boyer, and then ended up in the barriers after his battle with his teammate Delano Van Toff. Ended up with him in the barriers. They didn't come together, you understand. There was no contact from what I saw. Just looked to me as though Georgi just pushed a little bit over the line out of turn 1, got on the grass, and that sent the kart beyond its capabilities. He missed his braking point and went straight into the barriers up at turn 2. So it happens. It's very easy to get the job done, but he's going to have to dig deep and find his own strength and resolve. We know how good a driver Georgi Dimitrov is. We know he can win. So it's time to put up or shut up, and I'm sure he will do the former. So now it's time for Georgi Dimitrov and Lewis Gilbert to go side by side for battle here at Salbris. And again, they form up into their rows at turn 6. That is 10 corners before the start-finish line. So clearly they want to build some tension for us and for each other, because they want to figure out what the psychology is. How early do we start to form up rows? Well, I'm ready to form up rows, and I'm just going to leave you waiting and calculating how long it's going to be before I hit the button. It's going to be an interesting one. Out of turn 9 and the 10 they come then, and they form up in their rows. Dimitrov and Gilbert, Van Toff and Preston. Still got a little way to go around the circuit before we get the green light. Van Toff and Preston, Ratican and Pardo, Lystra and Shields, and then it's Pilka and Gazzo who round out the top 10. There's the 144 in there, just battling away through. That's Alessandro Tedesca, who'll be lining up beside Jerzy Spinkovic on the 11th row of the grid. So much talent in this field. One little slip up in qualifying and drivers who could be starting 5 to 10 rows further up the grid can end up a long way down the order. It's an amazing championship, the IAME X30 Euro Series. Incredible racing, the best in continental Europe and even further afield, of course, as well. There's a lot of drivers from North and South America, Asia, Africa, and even Australasia have come here to race in the European Series. It's an absolutely fantastic grid in all 4 categories. But the X30 Juniors is the one that takes centre stage now for Heat AC. Dimitrov, Gilbert, Van Toff, Preston, Ratican, Pardo, Lystra, Shields, Pilka and Gazzo in the top 10. They come out of the final turn, the engine revs rise. I think this is going to be a perfect start, and it is. Great start. And it looks as though Dimitrov is going to have a little bit of pressure from Gilbert. But on the inside line, he holds his position, he holds his nerve too. And Lewis Gilbert is going to tuck in his second. It's the perfect start for Gilbert. The Scotsman has got it exactly where he needs to place the kart, and we've got a kart right down the back, having lost ground to the rest of the field. I wonder if there was a spin or a little bit of a clattering together. And unfortunately, it's a lot of ground to make up for one of the drivers further back down the field. Can't quite see who it is from this distance, but the battle for the lead is getting very intense, and Gilbert's through! Gilbert's through into the lead. Gilbert takes the lead from Delano Van Toff and Georgi Dimitrov. So the battle gets straight on with it. Delano Van Toff's going to try and make the move on Gilbert. No thanks. Lewis Gilbert is going to lead this one for the time being. And in 4th position, that's the 127 of Luca Lystra. The Belgian has shot forward into 4th place. A terrific start from Lystra. And the Evolution driver finds himself right in the mix. This is exactly where he wanted to be. An absolutely terrific start for Lystra. Oh, sorry, that's the Dan Holland Racing driver, I should say, Luca Lystra. So similar, those body kits. But it is the Dan Holland Racing driver, teammate to Alex Lloyd, Luca Lystra, who's diving up the inside for 3rd as the lead is about to change. Delano Van Toff gets through. Lystra tries to go for 3rd, doesn't make it stick, and has to shut the door firmly to stop 4th place being lost. That's Josh Ratican trying to come through. But it's Delano Van Toff who leads now from Lewis Gilbert and Georgi Dimitrov. Delano Van Toff defending valiantly from Gilbert as Dimitrov closes up. Lystra still there in 4th place for Dan Holland Racing, doing a fine job in P4. Then it is Ratican, Pardo, Gazzo, Urbelt, Pilka, and I think that's Kian Shields in 10th place. So some good battles all the way round the lap. It's not done yet. Pilka's moved up past more Urbelts now into 8th place. Shields, McLean, Suleiman Zanfari is 12th place on the Lotus. So a very good move. Oh, Zanfari dives down the inside a little further back, just in front of my position to get past McLean and up into 11th place. So the Lotus Racing Kart team will be happy with that one. But at the front, it's Gilbert trying to put pressure on the leader, Delano Van Toff. Van Toff comes across the line just a little bit. Oh, a bit of contact, and Luca Lystra goes into the back of Lewis Gilbert. He clips Dimitrov, surges forward, tags the back of Gilbert. How on earth they didn't go off the circuit, I will never know. But that is absolutely incredible. They just about avoided controversy there. My word. And 5th place is now a squabble. Pardo, Ratican and Gazzo as they continue to battle away for position. Cesar Gazzo trying to come past Victor Pardo. Ratican is holding his own there in 5th position, holding fast in P5. So, amazingly, we've now got Luca Lystra down to 4th position, and he lives to fight another day. Genuinely don't know how he did that. That is absolutely amazing. So now they come out of the final turn. Delano Van Toff. Oh, there's a big shot! Big shot! I think it's going to be a red flag for that one. And that's 3 or 4 karts that have been squeezed there. I have a feeling that could end up as a red flag. We've got 3 or 4 karts together at the final turn as well. But a really big shunt, and I have a feeling we could end up at least with a yellow flag. At that point, we've got 3 or 4 karts started around in different points of the circuit. Lola Lovinfoss and the 23 of Jerzy Spinkovic getting away from that one. A big shunt on the penultimate turn. and it made a jolly big bang as they came together, hitting one of the barriers, and the driver spat out of the kart. I think that's the 34, actually. I think that's Victor Pardo. So Victor Pardo is gone from the fray. I think it just got a little bit too close together, and somehow Victor Pardo got spat out of his kart as they battle away for position. Are we going to be under yellows? Yes, we are, I think. On the far side of the circuit, we're going to be yellow flags as they try and get things down to a slow position. So they're all going to be asked to move aside. Oh dear, that's gone terribly wrong for Cian Shields, who ends up hitting the wet patch and has gone off the circuit. Well, and there's several karts going off there. Look, there's oil down. As a result of that, karts spinning all over the place up at turn 15. They were told to move to the inside line. Stay on the inside line because there's moisture on the circuit. Several karts going off. A lot of the drivers just not heeding the warnings. And we've got several karts off the road as a result of that. So several karts going off. Absolute chaos here at Salisbury's. Now, who we got off into the barriers? We've got the 48 off. That is a disaster for one of the men towards the front end. 48 is Liam McNeely. We had the 18 off in there as well. That's Ollie Pilker, the Polish driver. Throughout all of this, Lewis Gilbert has taken the lead back from Delano Van Toff. Lucas Lystra is in third place. Fourth position now is Ratican. Fifth is Georgi Dimitrov. Stay to the outside. Do not go off on the oil, for goodness sake. Lewis Gilbert leading the race comfortably from Van Toff. Then it is Lystra, Ratican, Dimitrov. Then Cesar Gazzo in front of the 76 of McLean. Suleiman Zanfari is in 8th place on the Lotus kart. Then it is the 62. That is Victor Sulan in front of Alessandro Tedesca. And then we have the 84 of Helena Nerudini, who was on the back row of the grid. Nerudini was in dead last at the start, and now he finds himself back into a much stronger position. Then it's Juliet, Belderomov, Norman, Meekin, Lovenfoss, Spinkovic, Cian Shields has got going again. Hassinen 20th, and a Bramchick. So we've lost Pilker, McNeely, Lois Delbart, Luke Preston. So many drivers have gone from this race, and of course Victor Bardot, who got spat out of his kart at that part of the circuit. Well, we're still racing, but obviously we've now got slippery oil flags down at the final corner and yellow flags waving still, so no overtaking. Drivers have got to be careful in these final two corners because moisture's gone down as a result of the barrier being struck by Victor Pardo. It'll be interesting to watch that incident back again if we've got a camera shot on it. As up to second comes Lystra. Lystra makes the move for second place on Delano Van Toff. Van Toff is trying to defend. And fourth place Ratican closing up with Dimitrov in the mix as well. So I thought we were going to get red flags there as a result of that incident, but we didn't. We didn't even go to full course yellow. Incredibly smart work from the marshals has kept the race going. But we lost to Bramchick, Pilker, McNeely, Victor Pardo. Who else did we lose? We lost Lois Delbar and we lost Luke Preston as well in that melee. Only 5 drivers retiring, would you believe, in all of that? But one of them looked pretty nasty, that one being Victor Pardo, and he is receiving medical treatment. The racing continues. 2 laps to go, and Lewis Gilbert is leading. Luca Lystra is now second. Third is Delano Van Toff in front of Josh Ratican and Georgi Dimitrov. But Lewis Gilbert is looking to make it 2 wins out of 2 for him. Or shall I say 2 wins out of 3, because I think this is his 3rd start. But what a sensational battle. Lewis Gilbert in front of Luca Lystra into the final lap of proceedings here at Salisbury's. And Josh Ratican defending valiantly to keep Georgi Dimitrov at bay in their battle for 4th place. And they're trying to keep up with Delano Van Toff as well, don't forget. But Lewis Gilbert is going to get the victory of this race, although the Belgian Luca Lystra is desperately trying to catch him. But he's going to run out of time. Surely the gap between them is a good half a second. And I'm not sure that's going to be enough time with the books left to get this job done. So Lewis Gilbert in front of Luca Lystra, Delano Van Toff, Josh Ratican and Georgi Dimitrov are going to finish in that order unless Dimitrov pulls one final trick, but he can't, of course, because the yellow flags are out. So Lewis Gilbert is going to get the victory out of the final turn. It's been a crazy race, but Lewis Gilbert has held on and takes the flag. Second is Luca Lystra. Third is Delano Van Toff. Josh Ratican and Georgi Dimitrov are 4th and 5th. Cesar Gazzo is 6th from Josh McLean and Suleiman Zanfari of Morocco. And then we have Victor Soulan and Alessandro Tudiska, who comes up from 22nd on the grid to be P10. Helen Nerudini and Enzo Juliet in 12th position. Then it is Hugo Belder-Romoff in 13th from Robin Norman, Moa Abelts, Zach Meekin, Kian Shields, Jerzy Spinkovic, Lola Lovinfoss, and Jasper Hassinen. Last place will be Noam Abramczyk. Absolutely crazy race. Well, we've seen an amazing battle, and then we saw a crazy one. Lewis Gilbert takes the victory from Luca Lystra and Delano Van Toff from Josh Radican and Georgi Dimitrov. Cesar Gazzo is 6th from Josh McLean, Suleiman Zanfari, Victor Soulan, Alessandro Tedesca, Heron and Nerudini up from the back, and Enzo Juliet. Hugo Belder-Romoff, then Robin Norman, Moa Abelts, Zach Meekin, Kian Shields, Jerzy Spinkovic, Lola Lovinfoss, Jasper Hassinen, Noam Abramczyk, and then the retirements. Liam McNeely, Ollie Pilker, Victor Pardo, and at the very back of the field, Lois Del Bar. Luke Preston, it seems, failed to make the start in the end, but, well,